Hey everyone, so this is my final video essay. I just wanted to begin it by saying that I hope everyone is doing well and staying safe and healthy during this time in quarantine. So first I'll just talk about the article that I read. The article that I read was from the New York Times. It was titled Coronavirus and the Isolation Paradox, and it basically just talked about how loneliness and isolation are definitely going to be huge issues. This was written actually on March 13th, so kind of right as the social distancing was getting really strict. But loneliness and isolation are going to be problematic during this pandemic, this time of social isolation, and just how there's a significant percentage, it's I think 27% of Americans live alone, and it was talking about how loneliness increases depression and these other risk factors that can lead to people just not getting either the help they need or the mental sanity they need. It can be harder for groups of people who live alone to get medications or anything like that they need. And then it also just touched on different ways that we can stay connected during this time. And I think it's become increasingly evident since the time this article was written that people have been trying to think of creative ways to stay connected. So I found that to be really interesting, and how there'll be a significant part of our culture that stems from everything we're going through right now, whether it's movies, essays, stories. I've talked to a lot of people, like my grandparents, who have lived through, the Depression and have lived through Vietnam and all these events, but they say that this is really different from that and this is going to leave a lasting impact. So that's just something to think about from the article. Segueing into how the coronavirus has impacted my life. So I fell into the unfortunate subset of Georgia Tech students who were graduating this semester. So that's definitely been the hardest and most difficult part for me, is knowing that I'll never have this valuable time, all these things I've been looking forward to, trips, events, parties that I had planned or thought that were going to happen will not be happening, and just I never really got to say goodbye to a lot of people, so that's something that's been pretty hard to deal with. And I saw something recently that maybe any of you who are in the same boat will relate to. It was talking about how for seniors, this is like, it's like you've been watching a movie for 2 hours, but then you don't get to see the last 20 minutes. So that's like how you could explain it to someone else. And I thought that was just really true, because it's not like the rest of the movie wasn't great or the rest of the experience wasn't great, but we didn't get to see the very end, which is unfortunate. But other than that, I've been good. I'm back at home in Maryland, where I'm from, and I'm trying to stay as connected as I can with different friends, different family. I'm with my family here, and I've been trying to make time to either call or FaceTime friends, grandparents, anyone who I have contact with. A lot of my time has been filled with schoolwork and senior design, so I haven't had as much downtime as maybe some people have, but it's definitely been an interesting experience. And then maybe piggybacking off of this into impact. So I think the way for me that I can make an impact through all this, and reflecting kind of on the Strengths Finder, which I talked about in the discussion, the first way would be because I'm an optimist and I'm extremely positive, that just kind of maintaining this spirit, I think, can help other people, although some may complain about me being too positive or optimistic. But I think there's so many good things that have come out of this time already. Like, for example, when else am I going to have this much time to spend at home with my family? Or just kind of the world taking a step back from the busyness and the go of our lives, I think is something that's been pretty important. So I think that's one of the main ways I've made an impact. And then another way is just by kind of being present and trying to spend quality time with those I can, with my family, just helping out around the house. Although it might not sound super impactful, I think it can be impactful in a way, just to kind of be present, live in the moment, make sure you appreciate what you do have instead of focusing on what you don't have. So with that being said, I know it's been a hard time for everyone, but I hope you're staying in there, and I hope you have a great rest of the semester and rest of your college experiences.